Hello students, I am Mitushi Agrawal and I am bringing lecture number 2 of components of food to you. So in the earlier lecture we have discussed about the components of food. Now we will continue with that topic. So the first topic is components of food. In the earlier lecture we have discussed the major 4 components of food, the nutrients we need for our body, that are the carbohydrates, proteins, fats and vitamins. Now we will take the other ones. So beginning with that, I will take the fifth nutrient that our body needs, that are minerals. Minerals are needed by our body in small amount and are essential for proper growth of body and to maintain proper health, good health. So what are minerals? They are the ones which are needed in very small amount but are needed. Like they cannot be skipped. They are needed in very small amount, like vitamins we have discussed. They were also needed in small quantity but on regular basis. Similarly, minerals are also needed in very small quantity, but they protect us from some particular diseases and they are needed for our health, for our particular protections. So minerals were needed in traces amount but is essential component as well. They are needed in very small amount, like the traces amount, but are very essential. Minerals are necessary for building proper growth and maintenance of a body. Similarly, like we have seen that there are protective food that gives us the strength to fight against diseases. That again, there are minerals which fight against diseases. They maintain our body, like they make some enzymes in our body, which microbes in our body, which fights against the antibodies and the viruses of some diseases. So calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, sodium, iron, zinc are some essential minerals of our body. You might be thinking these are the elements in the present in the earth, why our body needs them. So particularly our body also needs some kind of iron, some calcium to fight against some particular disease. Like calciums, our teeth, our bones are made up of calcium. So for maintaining the teeth and the bones, calcium is needed, and iron is needed for the purification of blood. Similarly, there are different functions of different type of minerals and they all are needed in our body in small amount, not very large, but are very essential for us. So taking the minerals, there are two types of minerals, macro minerals and micro minerals. Micro means small and macro means big, like large sizes. So these minerals are required in large amount, like calcium, magnesium, sodium and potassium. They are needed in large quantities as compared to the micro minerals, and micro minerals are the ones which are needed in very small quantity. So micro minerals, these are required in very small amount. Example, iron, zinc, copper and iodine. Iodine is helpful for the neck of a body, like the goiter is prevented by the iodine, and iron is needed for the purification of blood. They are needed in very small quantity, so they are micro minerals. Then I have the sources and functions of mineral. Taking the minerals one by one, we will be discussing their functions and their sources, that where do we get them from. So taking the first one, that is calcium. Builds bone and teeth and help keep them strong. Blood clotting and blood pressure. So what is calcium? Calcium just make up the teeth and bones of our body, and also it maintains them. Like if there is any regard in the bones or etc., so what happens, then calcium is given to the body and that just make it easier for us to have them. And we can get calcium from milk, cheese, yogurt, tofu, broccoli, legumes. Milk is the best source of calcium, and that is why it is given to the infants, because in infants what happens, that the teeth is growing, so for them the bones are also making up. So that's why milk is given to infants and also toddlers. Why? Because their teeth are growing at that time, and that's why calcium is needed by them in large quantities. Then we have magnesium. Keep nerves and muscles strong, help to form bones and teeth. Then again, the teeth are and bones are also made up of magnesium in small quantity, and also magnesium helps in keeping the nerves and the muscles strong. We have the nervous system and we have many nerves running through our body, so they all are kept strong by magnesium. The sources of magnesium are spinach, wheat, dry beans, peas, nuts, and fish. These are the sources from where we can get the magnesium mineral. Then we have potassium, keeps fluid balance in the blood and tissue, helps in controlling blood pressure, allows nerves and muscle to work together. Then here we have the potassium. What potassium does, it keeps the fluid balance in the blood. Okay, so what happens that there are blood and the tissues we have. Tissues are some kind of semi-solid substances, and the blood that runs in our body is liquid. So there they have to maintain some balance to, so that the liquid can pass its materials to the semi-solid substance. So for that potassium is needed. And then we have the blood pressure problems that are also controlled by potassium, and also our nerves and our muscles work together due to presence of potassium. The sources of potassium are banana, papaya, sweet potato, tomato juice, fish, nuts, milk, and yogurt. These are some sources from where we can get the potassium mineral. Then sodium. Sodium is the we know that sodium chloride is the common salt we take in. So we get most of the minerals from salt also, like sodium and magnesium, we get that from salts also. So we know that sodium chloride, I have taken that example earlier also, that it is NaCl and its name is sodium chloride, and this is the common salt we take. So from that we get the sodium mineral. Muscle contraction, nerve transmission, and maintain normal blood pressure. So you might have heard that salt just make the high blood pressure if taken in higher quantity. So it maintains if it is consumed in normal quantity, but if taken in much more quantity, that can also just retain our bones, and that is not good for our health. So all the minerals are needed in normal quantity. Excess of them can also be a deprivation. Then we have sodium for our muscle contractions also, and nerve transmissions, etc. These are the functions which sodium have are in our body. Then table salt, that is, I have told you that the common salt is the source from which we get the sodium. Soya sauce, processed food, fish, meat, eggs. Processed foods are the ones like pizza, burger, etc. And then we have fish, meat. There also we get the sodium because they comes from the sea, and sea contains many minerals. Like seafood have the maximum of minerals present in it. Then we have another mineral, that is zinc, required for growth and development, important in wound healing. We know that if we get the wounds anywhere, then the clotting of blood starts. For that we also need zinc. So for clotting purposes we need zinc, and for growth and development purposes also. And the sources of zinc are yogurt, milk, cheese, chickpeas, and seafood like fish, etc. Then we have iron. Iron is important mineral but needed in very small quantity, like it is micro mineral. Example, carry oxygen to all parts of your body, prevents you from feeling tired. Iron is needed for the blood system. Why? Because in the transmission process we know that we inhale oxygen and we exhale carbon dioxide, and that oxygen is given to our lungs, but it needs to be transferred to all our body parts. For that we have the hemoglobin substance that runs in our bloodstream, and that hemoglobin is made up of proteins and iron. We have discussed protein make up the hemoglobin. There also I have mentioned the name of iron, that iron also make up the hemoglobin, and that hemoglobin carries the oxygen from our lungs to the different parts of our body. So we can say that iron also have a part in this mechanism. So it is very useful. Why? Because it carries the oxygen from in the transmission of oxygen to all our body parts. So iron is needed there. Okay. And also if we feel tired, and if I have sufficient iron in our body, then we will not feel tired or dizzy very much. Then the sources of iron are meat, fish, peas, dried beans, bread, pasta, etc. Like iron can be get from the peas, we know, then the nuts also. These are the sources of iron. Then I have iodine, main component of the thyroxine hormone of thyroid, which helps regulation, growth and development and metabolism. what happens that iodine helps in the metabolism process by making up the thyroxine hormone. Thyroxine hormone is in the thyroid glands. Thyroid glands are the ones which are the major parts of our body, and they runs you might have heard about thyroid, and there are some swelling processes etc in that. So if thyroid is a becomes a disease, so there are thyroid glands in which iodine makes up the thyroxine hormone, and that is important for us. And the iodine can be get from the sources like seafood, foods grown in rich iron iodine rich soil, and iodized salt, bread and dairy products. You there was a thing that is said that our salt should contain iodine, like iodine is our salt should contain iodine, and that's why iodized salts are preferred. Iodized salts are the salts like NaCl, but there is the presence of iodine in it, so we can get the iodine in that little amount from the table salt we take in daily. And also seafood prefers us and also seafood gives us the iodine, and we can get iodine from dairy products also, and the foods which are grown in the soil which already contained iodine, so the food will also have iodine in them, so from there also we can get iodine. Then we have sources of minerals like for calcium we can have milk and eggs etc. For iron we have spinach, and the rich source of phosphorus that are bananas, and then rich source of potassium that are lemon. So these are some sources of minerals which we have discussed till now. Then we have the another nutrient in the list, that is roughage, the sixth number. Dietary fibers are also known as roughage. There are some dietary fibers that are known as roughage. Roughage is the needed in very small quantity. Again, roughage does not provide any nutrient to our body, but it is essential component of our food and adds its bulk. It is not something that provides nutrient to our body, but it is needed to prevent constipation in our body. What happens, this helps our body to get rid of undigested food, that is it helps in proper digestion. Roughage helps in the digestion processes, that makes it proper. Okay, so it does not give us any nutrient or anything, but it is needed for the digestion process, and for that it is, we can say, as an essential component of our food. It is advised to eat more roughage in case of constipation. So in case of constipation, what happens, that it is advised to take more roughage, because that helps in constipation, in getting rid of it by giving us proper digestion. Roughage is mainly provided by plant products in our food like carrot, cabbage, turnip, cauliflower, apple, rice, strawberry. These are some sources of roughage from where we can get it. What happens, that there are dietary fibers like fiber rich food, like I can say I have seen oranges are also dietary fibers rich source. So there are some fibers in them, like I can say bananas and mangoes, they also have some fibers in them that helps in digestion. How, in the small intestine the food passes through it, and when it goes through it, what happens, it is solid, but and it might just block in the that passage. So what the fibers do, they just take that solid part through it and clears the passage for other food. So for that it helps in digestion, like clearing that small intestine passage, and that is why that is needed in the digestion method, and it helps us get rid of constipation. Then we have the next nutrient, that is water. Water is not actually a nutrient, but is a major component of our food. 70% of our body weight is water. Like our body is 70% made up, like our weight is contained by water. We have many liquid fluids running in our body. Then our body needs 2-3 liters of water every day. Like 2-3 liters should be given to our body every day. Water is also essential for the proper functioning of our body, and also water is needed for some particular functions in our body, like we can say the excretion method and then the sweating. These all occurs due to the presence of water in our body. nutrients on the basis of their role. So we have discussed that there are we have discussed total 7 nutrients up till now. Not actually nutrients, we have discussed 5 nutrients up till now and 2 other components of food, that were roughage and water. So with those nutrients we will divide them in 3 categories, like energy providing food, body building food and protective food. So what are they? Like the energy providing food, by name what you can see, that the ones which provide us energy. So cereals, sugar, oil, etc. food are rich in carbohydrates and fat. Carbohydrates and fat gives us energy. We have discussed that carbohydrates and fats gives us energy. Like carbohydrates gives us instant energy and fats provide us energy in later periods of time when we are feeling tired. So these are the ones which provide us energy and therefore they are called energy providing foods. Then we have body building food. Pulses, beans, milk, fish, etc. are rich in protein, minerals and fat. All these content of food help in our body building and growth of the body. So now we can say all the food which contains protein or minerals or the fats are body building food, because they are the ones which helps us in maintaining our body. We have discussed minerals helps us in maintaining our body, like teeth, bones, etc. And then proteins helps us in the growing stage, and fats helps us to protect our muscles by fats, because fats consumes under our skin and that makes up our body. So these all are the body building food because they helps in maintaining our body and its growth. Then we have protective food. Protective foods are the ones which will help us to fight against diseases. So vegetables, fruits and milk, etc. are the ones in them the mineral content of the food was very rich in these kind of food, like vegetables, fruits, etc., and helps in protection against infections and diseases. Also vitamins are protective food. So vitamins and minerals are the ones are called protective food. Why? Because they helps us to fight against the diseases, and also they boost our immunity. What is immunity? The capacity to fight against diseases and infections. Then we have scavengers. We have discussed in the last chapter what where does it come from, the food where does it come from chapter. In that we have discussed about the heterotrophs. What are heterotrophs? The ones which depend on other organisms for their food, the organisms which depends on other organisms for their food. And in them we had 3 categories: herbivores, omnivores and carnivores. But there another category is also there, that are scavengers. We are discussing this in this chapter, that are some carnivores and omnivores consume dead bodies of animals and thus help to keep the environment clean. What they do, that there are many dead bodies of organisms and there are some carnivores and omnivores which helps to eat them, like they just degrade those dead bodies by eating them, and by it what happens, the environment becomes more clean. Such animals are called scavengers. Example: crows, vultures and jackals. Producers are living beings like plants which can prepare their own food. So we have seen that there were producers and there were consumers. Who are the producers? Which make their own food, like the plants. And who are the consumers? Which depend on other organisms for their food, like all the heterotrophs are consumers. So in that we have discussed 3 types of heterotrophs, that are herbivores, carnivores and omnivores. And we know that carnivores and omnivores eat flesh of other animals, so they eat up the dead remains of the dead bodies, and that's why they helps in making the environment clean. And that examples are crow, vultures and eagles and jackals, etc. Then we have another topic, that is balanced diet. So what is balanced diet? The food we take every day, like dal, chapati, rice, curd, vegetables, fruit and milk, is called our diet. What is diet? Which the food we take in is called our diet. Okay, then we talk about balanced diet. So what will be balanced diet? By the word balanced you mean that that should be maintained in a proper way. So a balanced diet is the one in which provides proper amount and ratio of carbohydrates, fats, proteins, minerals, vitamins, which are important for survival of the life and helps in growth and maintenance of our body. So by diet what we mean? diet word implies that the food we take in, that contains all the food materials we take in, like the chapati, rice, etc., and then vegetables, fruits, that are also taken in our diet. Then what is a balanced diet? The diet which gives us the proper food nutrients which we need. So, and also in proper amount, like if we need minerals in less amount, that should be given in less amount, and if we need carbohydrates in more ratio, then that should be given in more ratio. So a balanced diet is the one which gives us the proper ratio of all the nutrients, including carbohydrates, fats, minerals, proteins, vitamins, and even roughage. So these are the ones, in the balanced diet we should have all the proper components which are needed for the maintenance of a body, for our growth, for giving us energy, and all the factors which are needed with why, because of what we need food. So a balanced diet is the one in which we get all the components in proper ratio. A balanced diet for a normal and healthy person should contain carbohydrates 60%, fats 15%, protein 25%, and vitamins and mineral and traces. So by taking this, what we see that the 100% food should contain approximately 60% food for the ones which are healthy, and then 15% fat should be in that, and then 25% of protein. So this make up the whole 100% of food, and minerals and vitamins should be present in traces amount, like very small amount, and this wholly make up a proper balanced diet. The term calories is normally associated with food. It is unit of measure of the energy. So we have discussed that 1 gram of carbohydrates contains 4 kilocalorie energy. So that is that kilocalorie energy. That calorie word is a unit by which we measure the energy, and calories are often just make up, like they are just related to the food we take in. So by food we just make it sure that we are getting the food in calories, and that is the measuring unit we can say for food and for the food giving energy. The food that we eat is burned inside our body to release energy. Our body burns this food through complex chemical reactions to release energy. The food we take in is like the word used here is burned inside our body. It is not actually burned, but it is oxidized by using the oxygen and other factors which are present in our body. So that food is utilized, and actually it is like burned, or we can say oxidized inside our body for providing us energy, and that energy is used for the purposes, like for the vital processes our body is going through. So our body just make that food item that is very complex, and make it simple for our body to digest it and then provide energy to our body. So there are some chemical reactions taking place while the process of digestion is happening inside our body. Then we have another topic in this lecture, that is deficiency diseases. What is the meaning of word deficient? So the deficiency word is like, the meaning tells us that there is some lack of that. So what is the deficiency diseases? Any disease caused by the lack or insufficient supply of any nutrient is called the deficiency disease. So those diseases which occur in our body due to the lack of some nutrient, or due to some insufficient supply of any particular nutrient, that is called the deficiency disease. So those diseases, if I say like I do not have much carbohydrates in my body, then I will have a particular disease that will be called deficiency disease. Then if I lack vitamin A in my body, then I might suffer from a disease. So that will be called deficiency disease. So the diseases through which what happens, like in lack of any particular nutrient or any insufficient supply, like if I have not much proteins in my body, that is the thing by which these diseases occur. Deficiency of carbohydrates. So what happening, like we will be discussing all the nutrients deficiency one by one. So taking the first, that is deficiency of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is the main source of energy, and this energy is used in various functioning of a body. We know that that is the main source of food which our body needs, and if it lacks, so then our body will be facing so many weaknesses, etc. So deficiency of carbohydrates in our body leads to weakness, decreased stamina, feeling unhealthy, decreased blood sugar level, feeling dizziness. So what happens if carbohydrates is not present in sufficient amount in our body? We will feel weak, we might feel unhealthy, and then we will feel like dizziness, like we will feel fatigue very early, like we will do some work and we will feel tired again and again. And then the blood sugar levels will also be decreased, because we get the blood sugar from the carbohydrates. We have talked about that we are getting the sugar level. Our sugar level is maintained by the carbohydrates in our body, so our blood sugar levels will go down and our stamina will be decreased. So these are some symptoms which we will see if we have lack of carbohydrates. Then the next, we have deficiency of proteins. Deficiency of protein leads to kwashiorkor or marasmus. These are the two deficiency disease that are caused due to the lack of proteins in our body. These diseases are more common in rural areas where there is less awareness. Nowadays the awareness is done in many areas, but earlier it was seen that these two diseases are very much common in the rural areas, and for that the government started midday meal in the government schools so that the students get their diet properly. So talking about these diseases, that is kwashiorkor. Firstly, symptoms of kwashiorkor, that is protruding belly, dark and scaly skin, brownish hair, projected eyes, stunned physical growth, usually underweight, and swollen legs due to accumulation of water, loss of appetite, anemia, mental retardation. So these are some symptoms which we see in the kwashiorkor diseases. That is like the belly of a small child will be just too much protrude, and then there will be swollen legs due to the water just get collected in the legs. And then there will be another symptoms like brownish hair, and then there will be like the eyes will be very stunned, like they will not see clearly, they will lack clear vision, and there will be loss of appetite, they will not need food again and again. So these are some protein deficient diseases. Like this is a disease, that is kwashiorkor, which occurs due to the deficiency of proteins. Then we have another disease, that is marasmus. So in this what happens, the symptoms of marasmus: thin physique, slow body growth, lack energy, loss of appetite. Like the physical body, the physique will be thin, very thin people, and the children will get very thin with the lack of proteins, and then their body growth will be very slow and they will lack energy. Then again loss of appetite, mental retardation, weak legs, their legs will be very weak, and poor muscle development, there will be no muscle development if the proteins are lacked. That is why is protein needed? They are needed for the growth of a body, and if the proteins are not there, then the body will not grow properly. Okay, caused by protein, like calorie malnutrition. So if the nutrition like proteins are not given in proper amount, then this is caused, and then child is weaned out early and given diet low in protein and carbohydrates. If that child are not given proper diet with proteins and nutrients, other nutrients, then this disease just comes out. And when the mother is weak due to repeated childbirths, feminine and wartime, and also the health of mother also depicts that children might suffer from marasmus. Deficiency of fats and carbohydrates also turn in the marasmus, and proteins are used to generate energy. Growth is reduced to protein deficiency. If the protein is not there, then growth will be lacked, like growth will not be that much which is needed, so that will be very in reduced quantity. So for that, protein rich diet is needed, and child looks thin, and in this body weight is also loose, and the child will become very thin, and their limbs and their ribs will be seen, like you might have seen that that the if in thin people, what happens that their bones and their ribs are being seen outside their body. So that is all because of the Marasmus disease, and that is in there is lack of proteins in them, so their growth is being hindered. Then we have the deficiency of vitamins. So we will discuss all the deficiency of all the vitamins one by one. So taking the first vitamin, vitamin A. Vitamin A's another name is retinol. Retinol is the another name which is given for vitamin A. What are the functions of vitamin? We have not discussed the functions of vitamin A in the earlier lecture. I have told you that I will discuss that now. So here I will discuss the sources also of vitamins and also the functions. So vitamin A, functions of vitamin A are which keeps eyes, hair and skin healthy. So the vitamin A keeps our eyes healthy and our skin also healthy, and also our hair. So if that will be, there will be deficiency of vitamin A, what will happen, our eyesight might just go. So that night blindness is due to the deficiency of vitamin A. In that symptoms, dryness of eye and improper vision. The vision is not proper and the eyes dry very fastly. So you can see that in this picture that it is for the night blindness, and that occurs due to the uh, deficiency of vitamin A. Then sources of vitamin A: green leafy vegetables, fruits, butter, egg yolks, carrots and fish. So these should be given in good health for our healthy eyes. So we should take more of green leafy vegetables, and then carrot, that should be given in good quantity for our healthy eyes. And then vitamin B1, that is also called thiamine. It helps in digestion and maintains nervous system. And deficiency of B1 vitamin turns out to be a beriberi. Like beriberi is a deficiency disease that is caused due to the insufficient supply of B1. And its symptoms are inflammation, a condition characterized by redness or swelling of nerves. So the nerves swell, or there is some redness in the nerves. Digestive problems and heart abnormalities. In this, the heart is also performing abnormal, and also there are some digestive problems, because vitamin B1 also helps in digestion. And the sources of B1 vitamins are eggs, whole grains and sprouts, from which where we can get vitamin B1. Then from vitamin B2, that is also called riboflavin. So this is another name for vitamin B2. It keeps our skin and mouth healthy, and if B2 vitamin is lacked in our body, then skin disorders are observed. In that, irritation of eyes, skin and intestinal disorders, inflammation of the on the tongue, like that tongue will be feeling some reddishness, and there will be some like swelling problems and the like that. And then sources of vitamin B2 are eggs, milk, greeny leaf vegetables. And then vitamin B12, that is also called cyanocobalamin, and its function is formation of red blood cells. So if it is preparing red blood cells, and if it is lacked, then we see the anemia disease in our body, that is pale skin, lack of stamina and appetite, and frequent headaches. So these all are the symptoms of anemia. Anemia is also most of the time referred as less of sleepiness. So in that, our appetite is also loosened, like we will not need food in much more state. And then headaches are more frequent in the persons which are suffering from anemia. And then sources of anemia are meat, fish, eggs and etc., and greeny leafy vegetables also for vitamin B12. Then we have deficiency of vitamins. For that we have another vitamin, that is the vitamin C. Vitamin C is also called as ascorbic acid. Where we get ascorbic acid from? That is vitamin C from the citrus fruits. Okay, I will be discussing the sources later. First, talk about the functions of vitamin C. Helps to resist infections and keeps teeth, gums and joints healthy. So what happens? Vitamin C just makes our teeth and our gums very healthy, and also the joints, the bone joints in our body healthy. So if vitamin C is lacked, then scurvy is occurred in our body. The person lacking the vitamin C will be suffering from scurvy. What is scurvy? In this, what happens, the gums are started bleeding. So the symptoms of scurvy are loosening of teeth, spongy and bleeding gums. The gums started bleeding, and there is increased susceptibility of diseases, and also slow healing of wounds, weakness, pain in limbs. And then if there will be wounds, there the blood clotting will be in slow process. So in that, what happens, that the gums are very reddish and they just lack blood through them. And also in scurvy, the teeth are loosened. And if we have if we talk about the sources of vitamin C, so the vitamin C sources are citrus fruits such as lime, orange, lemon, tomatoes. I have told you that citrus fruits are good sources of vitamin C. Like, what are citrus fruits? From which you can say the citrus fruits are the ones which are like sour in taste generally, and we get the citric acid and ascorbic acids from them. And also the other name for vitamin C is ascorbic acid. And taking the examples of citrus fruits are lemon, oranges, tomatoes, and grapes, etc. Also we get is vitamin C from sprouts. So it is good for the healthy gums and teeth of our body. Then vitamin D, that is also called calciferol. And what is its function? It aids in the normal growth of bones in general. So vitamin D is needed for the bones of our body. We have seen that vitamin D can be made inside our body by the sunlight. So it is just it can be just we can get vitamin D from the sunlight. But also there are some food sources from which we get vitamin D, that are the milk, fish, eggs and sunlight is the general source of vitamin D. And also milk, egg and fish are the ones from which we can get vitamin D, because it helps in the bones, in the maintenance of our bones. And then deficiency of vitamin D will be turning to be rickets. And in this, what happens, the bones become weak, and the joints and there will be joint deformities, like the joints will not be on the proper places. And joints and bone deformities such as bow legs and pigeon chest, softening of ribs, protruding abdomen. So in this, what happens, that all the joints are not in proper place they are supposed to be. And then there will be like softening of bones, because they will feel weak. Bones are just made up of calcium, and vitamin D are also needed for maintaining them. So in this also, bow legs, like the knees will just move out, they will protrude out. And sometimes also knocked knees also suffered if in the lack of vitamin D. That is, in that the knees just protrude inside and the feet apart. So these are the symptoms which the person with rickets might suffer. Then we have vitamin K. The deficiency of vitamin K will just lead to hemorrhage, that is excessive bleeding. Hemorrhage is told to be excessive bleeding. You might have heard about brain hemorrhage, etc. In that, there is internal bleeding inside the brain. Why? Because vitamin K helps in blood clotting. What is blood clotting? When the blood goes out of our body through any wounds, so our skin just rupture, and the platelets inside the blood stream just collects there, and there is a brown surface formed there, that is called the blood clotting. And if vitamin K helps in blood clotting, and if it is lacked, what will happen, the blood will go out, and then clotting will not be stopped. That blood stream will go out, and that will just empty our blood vessels. So in that, hemorrhage is happening. Hemorrhage is the excessive bleeding. In that, what happens, the clotting of blood is affected, and that does not occur properly. There will be excessive loss of blood with a small cut or small wound also. Then the sources of vitamin K are spinach, cabbage or any other greeny leafy vegetables. So the green vegetables just give us the vitamin K. Then we have deficiency of minerals. So we have discussed that there are some particular functions of the minerals, and if they will be lacked, there will be some diseases that will be caused. So for the deficiency of calcium. What were the use of calcium? What is the function of calcium? That helped in the making and maintaining our bones and teeth. So if there is deficiency of calcium, bone and tooth decay, rickets in children, and osteoporosis in the adults. So the bones and teeth decay will be suffered for the ones which lack calcium. Weak bones and tooth decay are the symptoms for that. If iodine is lacked in our body, then goiter will be occurring. For the persons suffering from goiter, the symptoms seen are glands in the neck region, that is called thyroid, become swollen, and mental disability in children. There are thyroid glands in the neck of our body, and what happens if iodine is lacked, then the thyroid glands just swell up, the neck becomes very swollen, and in children there is mental disability also often observed with the children suffering from goiter. And then if iron is lacked, then anemia is occurred in the body, weakness, pale yellow body color, and whitish nails. So for iron was needed for the good process in by which the oxygen can be transferred from one body part to another. So it is just getting inside. Iron is needed for the purification of blood also. So then there will be loss of blood inside our body, and anemia is also will turn into weakness, and also the nails will just become pale white, etc. And there will be, the nails will become whitish or pale yellow, and then the body color will be not that healthy, because the blood will be not purified, and there will be lack of oxygen in some body parts. And then sodium and potassium, the deficiency disease caused due to lack of sodium and potassium is body and muscles weakness and paralysis. In this, the symptoms are general weakness and dehydration. Then we have another mineral, phosphorus. Due to deficiency of phosphorus, rickets in children. Phosphorus is again needed for the bones of our body, and then if it is deficient, then the rickets will be again occurred. Weakening of bones and teeth, and body weakness. And the function of rickets were also others, like the joints will be, there will be deformation. And then fluorine is another mineral that that in deficient if deficiency of fluorine will turn to dental decay, that is again the teeth decay. So in that, the symptoms are increased tooth decay, like the tooth will be loosened more, and there will be the bleeding gums, etc. So these are the symptoms which we see in if the minerals are lacked in, if some particular minerals are lacked in our body. So talking about minerals and vitamins all together, what happens, that they are needed in very less quantity, very traces amounts, but are needed, are very essential for us to maintain our body, like our bones, teeth, and our blood. So they are needed in very small quantity but are very essential. Like lack of one nutrient, like one mineral or a single vitamin can cause some diseases that are called the deficiency disease, which we have discussed properly. Then we have deficiency of water. You might have heard that water should be taken in good amount in our body, and we have discussed that water should be taken like 2 to 3 liters per day, because 70% of our body weight is made up of water. Water is also essential for the proper functioning of our body. We know that there are some functions which are provided, which are performed by the fluids inside our body, and that all are due to the presence of water. Excess loss of water from the body can cause a condition of dehydration. The dehydration process is the dehydration thing is happening because if there is less water inside the body. Dehydration causes loss of salts and leads to weakness in the body, and because water have dissolved salts inside it, and that helps in our body, and because of that weakness can also be seen. An oral rehydrating solution, ORS, oral rehydrating solution, the solution which will rehydrate, like hydrating means to give water to the body. So the oral rehydrating solution ORS can be given to the patient to recover from dehydration. So for recovering from dehydration, what happens, that ORS is given. It is available free of cost at primary health centers. It can also be made at home. Also it is very easily available and also free of cost at the primary health centers, and should be given to the patients which are recovering from dehydration, to give the instant water supply to our body for the dehydration. That is ORS is given. Now taking some questions from your modules, that is the question number 17. Excess intake of fatty food causes. So if fats are in much quantity, then obesity will occur. So the first option is the correct one. A very good source of animal protein. We have discussed we get proteins from foods like pulses, grains, etc. And then the animal protein from fishes and meat, etc. So that is the fish. It gives us protein rich food. And then both marasmus and kwashiorkor are diseases occurring in infants due to the deficiency of which nutrient? Proteins. Proteins deficiency diseases are kwashiorkor and marasmus. Then a person with bleeding gums should daily take. What happens when bleeding gums happens? When the vitamin C is not present in good quantity. So the ones which are having bleeding gums, they should take more of vitamin C like daily. So search for the source of vitamin C. Milk is not. Carrots, lemons and butter. Lemons are the ones. Why? Because I've told you that all the citrus fruits are good source of vitamin C. Then taking another question number 53 and 54, that are multiple correct questions. So in this blank is a carbohydrate. So we have to search for the sources of carbohydrate. Glucose is a source of carbohydrate. Then we have glycerol, fatty acids, no. And then fructose is also a type of carbohydrate. So taking it, we have glucose and then we have the fructose. Examples of dairy products. Dairy products are the ones which are the called milk products. So yes, paneer is a milk product. Then egg, no. And then curd, yes, it is a milk product. Honey, no. Honey we get from the honeybees. And then cheese, yes, it is again a milk product. Then taking paragraph based question, paragraph number 2. Vitamin C, yet another essential component of our diet. It keeps some organs healthy and also hold cells together and increases our body's resistance to infection. A deficiency of vitamin C leads to bleeding and swollen gums, weight loss and joint pains, susceptibility to infection and delayed wound healing. It keeps some organs healthy. Some organs are related to what vitamin C does. It keeps some organs of our body healthy. What are those organs? The teeth, gums and bones. So why? Because vitamin C is healthy for our teeth, etc. And then vitamin C leads to a deficiency disease. What was that? Scurvy. Because in that what happens, then the gums become swelling and they start bleeding, and also the joint pains, because vitamin C also helps in maintaining the joints of our body. So the deficiency disease which is caused due to the lack of vitamin C, that is scurvy. And then another name for vitamin C, we have discussed the another name for all the vitamins, and for vitamin C it was ascorbic acid. So the fourth option is the correct answer. Then we have the question number 61, column matching questions. In this we are given 2 columns and we have to match them. So energy giving food. What are the energy giving food? The carbohydrates and the fats. So this one. And then I have bodybuilding food. Bodybuilding foods are the ones like proteins and fats, etc. So the proteins is the correct option. And then protective food, which protects us from diseases like the vitamins and minerals. So this is the correct one. And then test for fats, we have discussed the test for them. So test for fats was like we can just put a paper around the fat, take a fat rich food, and that then there will be some oily patch on that paper. So this is the correct option. And then test for starch, It is the iodine solution. So iodine is used for testing starch, and test for protein it is the caustic soda and the copper sulfate solution. So this was all from this chapter. I hope you enjoyed learning with me. Thank you.